and thank you for being a patron of my Patreon account. And this is a special video just for my $5 and up subscribers. And so I just wanted to show you guys how I edit my videos. Now this is a two-parter because I'll explain why later on in the video. But anyways, we will be compiling the videos together, the clips, and using Photoshop, Premiere, and also a little bit of After Effects. So I hope you will dig into this with me. Thanks so much, everyone, and let's get right into it. So I'm going to switch to my desktop right now, and I have Adobe After Effects open. And what we're going to be doing, so this is a minimal titles and transitions. You can definitely look this up on the internet. I did buy this. I can't remember, I'm sorry guys, I can't remember where exactly I bought it, but if you look up this name and just say for Adobe After Effects, you'll get something. And so what I'm going to do now is, I found the one that I like, which is this one right here, but we can go through the different ones and you can see all the different kinds that they have on this one big chunk, which is pretty awesome. So what we're going to do is pick the one we like, double click inside of it, double click again until you see the names down here. Then we're going to unlock all of these. We're going to click inside the first one. We're going to hit Control T for writing things, and we're going to name it whatever we want. So I'm just going to go through, and then we're going to get out of that, and then Control V is Control V. Oops. There we go, V. Why is this now? There we go. Okay, and then we're going to click inside the next one. I'm just going to zoom out a touch, Control T again, and we're just going to keep going with our title. Alright, so if we get outside of this once more, we can actually see what this looks like. And I think I do already have this saved, because I already made it this once. And this is where I save all of my transitions. There it is. Yeah, okay, so we can close After Effects now because we're done with this. I'm not going to save it. So now we're going to be going into Premiere. So these are the settings that I have. You can pick the location that you want the video to go to. I'm going to call it Pumpkin Pie. Now these are the settings I always keep, so you can pause it here if you want a more in-depth to look at what I have it under, but this is generally what I like to have it set at. I'm going to hit OK once more. And then here's our timeline. So I'm just going to dump in the video the little video that we just created. I also have other transitions that I'm going to be adding in. Again, just like the word transition, this is something I bought online, so you can just look up cool motion graphic transitions. And I will show you how to use those soon. So if we go back, now we're going to go into my folder where I keep all of my pumpkin pie things. We're just going to take the ones we want, and then we're going to be placing them in Premiere. Alright, we can close this now. So the first one I like to take is my video that I lastly did. So we're going to want to keep or we're going to want to change to match the sequence time, so always make sure you click change. And so here is me talking. So I am going to open up the audio. We can see where I'm done talking, so we're going to cut that. And then we're going to get rid of the middle piece here. Now, the tools are quite simple on the side here. I mostly use the cutter tool, and also I use the track select tool. So I will try and tell you what hotkeys I am using for this. And I just hit the minus button so we can zoom out a whole bunch. I am going to move my end of the video sequence on two different video and audio tracks, and I'm going to move them further down the timeline so that we don't touch it, because I want to preserve what I have there. Now, next thing I'm going to do, so I'm going to zoom in again, and I am going to unlink the audio and the visuals because I don't need the visuals, and I'm also going to cut a little bit of the beginning here because there's no dialogue, so we're also going to get rid of that. I'm going to slide that over, and then we're going to be going in and finding some good clips that I want for the very beginning of my video. So, do we have any more? Okay, so we've got this one. We're going to unlink the sound again, that one too. So I'm just right clicking and just hitting unlink. We're going to get rid of the audio because we don't need it this time. I'm just going to grab the visuals, slide them over, and see what this looks like. I'm going to turn my sound off because I don't need that right now. Okay, that looks great. We're going to zoom in. We're also going to put that little clip that we had made on the very top here. Now what we're going to do is click on the little text video that we made, and we're going to come to the side here and we're going to hit opacity, and now we're going to change this to lighter color, and that all that does is it preserves the text and gets rid of the exteriors so that you can just have that. Next, we're going to see which one we like more here. I'm just going to move this guy over, place this guy down. Maybe we'll do like a transition between the two so we can just overlay it a touch here. And then I can add default transition so that it can fade into the next one. We can also zoom in on this one again. I'm also going to want an image for the end. I'm also going to need another track, so we're just going to place that up there. Let's see what this looks like. Okay. After that, we can just cut it here and there. I don't like when it goes out of focus, so we're just going to get rid of all of that. Move that back over. We can add another transition. Okay, so we can also delete that, slide that over, see what this looks like. Okay, then it starts moving around again, so we can just cut it there. I like to do a lot of just images and video of the work to begin with, before you actually get into it, so you have an idea of what it is that we're going to be making in the video. Okay, so we're almost done here. I'm also going to cut this down. I'm gonna just slide this, and also hitting X makes it so that we can grab the image and make it larger. I'm also going to, just to make sure that, nope, I don't like that. We're going to pick it up right there. So we're going to cut this. Just slide that in. Alright, so then this is my image, so I'm just going to move this over, make this a lot smaller so we can actually see it. And what I'm going to do for this is if we go here and open up the motion tab, we can select scale and transition, and then we can go to the end of the timeline here for this image and blow it up. And then what it should do is it grows. There we go. So what we're also going to be doing is I'm going to be adding some color correction to this. So if you just grab the brightness and contrast and add that in, we're just going to drag the slider just a touch. Because it's a larger image, it does take a little bit longer for it to register. So what we're also going to do here is that transition that I added, we're going to place that on the very top here, and we're going to make it so that the image or the transition goes the whole length. And what we're going to be doing is grabbing our image, going to effects, if you type in track key, we're going to be grabbing this track matte key and placing that over the image, and then we're going to be changing this here. If we scroll down under matte, we're going to change this to video 4 because now it's going to register that we want to transition from the image or the video to the image. So if we just scroll through, it'll actually transition between the two. It doesn't look so great right now, but that's because we need to actually render it. So if you really want, you can grab your sliders here and move them because it'll only render whatever you have selected. So what we're going to be doing here, I'm just going to do a little test render. So if you just grab this and make it a lot smaller, you can just hit enter and it will render just those frames. So if we just give it a minute here. Almost done, guys, I swear. I like to check these just because some of the mattes I'm not particularly keen on, but that one seems to be looking alright, I think. If we just click on it again, we can just go through and see how it's going to change between the two. Just a quick little gauge. I think that looks great. So if we go back, we're also going to clear this out because we're going to need to use the effects really soon, so I like to have this ready to go. Okay, so now we're going to be adding in the rest of the video. So if we scroll out, and we can delete that one because I'm not really 100% sure if I'm going to use that one yet or not. So if we just move the time slider over just a touch, And we're going to grab most of the video here, and we're just going to place that in. And remember how I mentioned I like to put my end video at the very end and on different timelines? This is why. See how, I actually put it far enough, but sometimes it's not far enough and you'll just write over what you had already edited, and that's kind of bad. So we're going to first mass select everything and unlink. Again, we're going to grab the very bottom and we're going to delete. Then we're going to, I like to just quickly edit this, so we're going to hit X and we're going to shrink down everything that's here, because usually you want some type of a speed run when you're working with this stuff. If you hit A, this is where you can grab everything that's beyond the cursor in the timeline and drag it over, just so that we can zoom in just a touch. If we hit X again, we can move this over, and then we can do that again with the other video, and then A again, and we can just grab everything and smush it together. And when you zoom in or out, will zoom in or out where you have your timeline ticker here. So if we moved it over here, it'll zoom in where you have that. So that's really handy if you want to zoom in where you have your image. So we're just going to make sure everything's flush. And now what I like to do is just over the video that we have here, we're going to color correct it before we do any editing. So if you hit V and then mass select all of your video again, brightness and contrast, and just place that on top. So if we just select these, and then we can go over top of the image. I think I got the color or the lighting pretty good that day, but just in case, see, you can just change anything you want here. You got your color, your brightness, and your contrast. I think 6 might be the only for the brightness. We don't really need too much going on, so I just quickly select all of these and we'll go through, because your lighting should be pretty much the same when you're doing all of this, so that should be pretty accurate. And then just a quick little gauge on how the time is going for everything. You can just hit spacebar anywhere over your work and you can see how fast the video is moving. And you can determine if you think this is fast enough, if you don't think this is fast enough, so on and so forth. So then, what I like to do is if we zoom in, we go to the very beginning, and we can start watching the video. And then this is just where the editing comes in. Okay, so because I didn't have it completely in beautiful focus, I am going to cut it here and then pick it on up where I ended up focusing in on it. So we're just going to cut it there and get rid of that chunk. If you hit A again, we can just drag this on over. And then let's go from there. So if you hit spacebar again, we will play where we're at. And always hit V and unselect, because if you have A and let's say I edited something and then hit delete, it would delete everything that was highlighted. So you always want to make sure that you unselect. Okay, we're doing the same thing twice, so we can just cut it here and then speed through this and go to go to here, I don't think we need any of that stuff. Yeah, no, that doesn't matter. Did I actually... Yeah, doesn't matter. Okay, so then V, select that, delete, A, drag everything over, V. Okay, so since we're doing the same thing twice again, we can just cut it there. And then cut there. A, move everything over. V, unselect. Okay. I think I want to be closer, so we're going to just zoom in a touch here. Okay, edit. Okay, we can cut it there, delete that, move everything over. Nothing's happening, so we can just edit that again. Cut. Okay. Go back to where we're putting that on, so cut it there, delete that, move it over. Maybe make it a little bit less so we can see it. Cut. Okay. Cut. Delete. Drag over. It's very important that you watch your full video while you're doing this so you can see what you need to get rid of. It just didn't autosave, so don't worry guys. So we're gonna just get rid of all of that. After we do that, we can cut all of this. So a bunch of nothing. Drag this over. Adding some chalk here. Cut. This can be more time consuming than I think most people realize. home stretch, guys. So see what I mean? How this one and that's highlighted because we used A and we moved everything over. So make sure you deselect and then delete only the section that you don't want. Alternatively, you don't have to edit the video. You can always leave all of this and then let's see, where does it actually finish? Okay, so what you can do if you want to leave all of this and you don't feel like cutting it is just hit X and then dragging this down some more so that you keep all of the information, but it's just in less time. So here is what I mean. And I mean, keep in mind the video quality isn't going to be the best yet because we still need to render it, but this just goes to show you that you can leave it there and just speed everything up. Now we're just going to move everything over again. I'm going to do the same thing here, grab it and move it down. Speed it up just a touch more. Make that bigger, speed this up also. And then we'll just hit A again, move this over. And make this a touch bigger. And then I'm also going to zoom out here, grab my information again of me talking at the very end, and then I'm going to add a transition. And I'm just going to place that on top of it here because we don't want to lose our subscribers. Also going to see what the audio looks like here and cut it if it needs to be cut. So right now we have it at 5 minutes. I'm going to say that this might be a touch long. Now I'm just bringing the information or the time slider back around here. Oh, we do need to zoom in over here, move everything over. But another thing I'm going to mention is the fact that there's going to be a double edit. So what I mean by that is once I render my first pass at this, which is, again, remember everyone, hitting enter, it'll render what I have selected here, so here to there, and then I'll do my voiceover. Now that's the part I'm not going to show for you guys because I can't see how you guys would really want to see that, but what I will do is next week's video I will make it so that I've already done this portion of the edit, and also my voiceover, so that when we come and sit down together again, what you will see is the second edit and also how I finish up and render it. So that portion of the video will be slightly shorter than this. But this just gives you a good idea on how I get started on my editing and to give you an idea of how long it takes and all that good stuff, because I don't think a lot of people realize how much time it actually does take to do that. So anyways, thanks so much guys, and I hope to see you guys here next Monday for another patron only video. Bye!